we please talk about Peter Yan versus Jose Aldo going down at Fight Island for the vacant bantamweight title of the world? Because this is a really excellent fight, and it's come about under strange circumstances. Obviously, Henry Cejudo retired. I think he expected more people to kind of, care for longer, but they've moved on really quickly. It's kind of like, yeah, hold up it. We'll make this fight. I mean, let's be real. It's not a real retirement, is it? It's not a real retirement. It's just he wants to get more money. Fair play to him. God bless him. I hope he does, because Henry Cejudo's a hell of a fighter. I really look forward to seeing him come back, and he will. He's gonna be back. But for now, we have got a really excellent bantamweight title fight on our hands, which shouldn't really be happening because, Marlon Moraes beat Jose Aldo, right? I don't care how people think that fight should have been scored, right? The bottom line is that it was a very close fight. It was razor close. And I thought Marlon Moraes, that he just landed like combinations at the right time at the end of each round just to put his stamp on the round. And I actually thought Marlon Moraes won that fight. And then the judges gave it to Marlon Moraes. And then there's this outrage, and the UFC are saying, no, Marlon Moraes isn't getting a title shot, but we'll give the title shot to Jose Aldo because I think he won that fight. It's like, what? You can't do that. You can't just decide that you don't agree with the judge's decision. It's not so much... I don't mind Jose Aldo being rewarded here because he's the King of Rio, for God's sake. The man has paid his dues, He's been around forever. He's the first ever featherweight champion. He's done it all, and he definitely deserves the title shot, right? But what I don't understand is the punishment of Marlon Moraes. It's just a bit of a strange one. I don't know. But either way, that aside, we've got a great title fight here because it's Jose Aldo against Peter Yan. Now, Peter Yan, he is an absolute destroyer. Boxer, but predominantly. He likes to use his hands. He does throw his kicks every now and again. But what he does is he generally likes to try and cut off the octagon for people. He likes to get them against the cage, and that's when he does his best work. That's when he did his best work against Jimmy Rivera. Now, that was the fight that I really thought he was impressive, because he battered Uriah Faber, and fair play to Uriah Faber just for taking that fight, if I'm honest, because Uriah Faber is game. He is game as anyone, but I think, realistically, his best years are not in front of him, and he's taking on Peter Yan, who's an absolute killer. He shouldn't really be fighting those guys, but he always will, because that's who he is. He's a real fighter, and Uriah Faber, big respect to him. But I don't see that as Peter Yan's most impressive victory, if I'm totally honest. But he did have an impressive win over Jimmy Rivera. Now, Jimmy Rivera is someone that I rate very highly at bantamweight. He's really very, very good, very skilled. But Peter Yan, he won a very decisive decision over Jimmy Rivera, because he had this knack of just pushing him against the octagon, just cutting off the octagon, leaving his back against the fence, and that was when he had him flat-footed. That was when he unleashed the fury, and that's when he got a couple of knockdowns, and he did his best work at the end of the rounds, much like Marlon Moraes did when he fought Aldo, but it was at the end of the rounds, and that's what won him each round. Now, Peter Yan, he's got crazy power in those hands, but there are weaknesses here, because Peter Yan's coming in as the favourite against Jose Aldo, rightly so, really, but I think this is a good fight for Aldo, because realistically, you need attributes to beat Jose Aldo. Jose Aldo, these guys, they're both 5'7", and Aldo actually has a 3-inch reach advantage over Peter Yan. Now, that could be really significant here, because Aldo, he has been around the block twice, do you know what I mean? And the people that have beaten him have generally had attributes. McGregor was taller, had the reach. Holloway, taller, had the reach. But other than that, Aldo, if he's fighting someone that's like his size, he generally picks him to pieces. Edgar, Mendes, take your pick. Do you know what I mean? He's got a whole laundry list of wins. And Aldo, he is so good. He's so technically proficient on the feet. And Peter Yan, it's not like Peter Yan's going to be like flying in for takedowns, I wouldn't have thought. Maybe he will. But that's not really his style. He's going to stand with Jose Aldo. And one weakness I did see in the Jimmy Rivera fight was Jimmy Rivera hurt Peter Yan with a few leg kicks, and Peter Yan didn't check him. He just kind of absorbed them, and he had to take a few minutes just to get like the kind of feeling back in his leg, because Jimmy Rivera actually he really did some damage to that leg. And Jose Aldo, historically, he's got some of the best leg kicks that the UFC has ever seen. And if he lands those leg kicks, then he's going to stop Peter Yan from using his movement in order to push him up against the cage. Aldo's usually very good at keeping his movement going, and lateral movement rather than going in and out. And just, he's not. I don't think he's going to keep his back on the cage like some of Yan's opponents have done in the past. And I think that he's going to light up his legs. I mean, I'm hoping he will, because obviously I'll put money on it because I'm a fucking moron. But yes, the heavy leg kicks, I think that's going to be a key here to Aldo, because once he slowed Peter Yan down and restricted his movement, he can then start unleashing some of those combinations, because he landed quite a lot of good combinations against Max Holloway. Like, the combinations and the speed, everything is still there. And because of that, I think that, this is going to be a stand-up war. And I see Aldo getting the knockout here. Well, I don't know if I see that, or if I just see that it's 6-1, and I just quite fancy those odds. I don't know what the difference is, to be quite honest. But, yeah, screw it. 6-1, plus 6 for Aldo to knock out Peter Yan. I'm taking that all day. Because, again, this is all just grapevine stuff, but, I listen to a lot of podcasts, and apparently one of their training partners said that when Peter Yan and Jose Aldo used to spar together, that Aldo would get the better of him every time. Now, whether that's true or not remains to be seen, but if that is true, then that's a psychological advantage to Aldo, surely. Peter Yan's going to be in there knowing that this guy used to get the better of him. And yeah, who knows? That might not even be true. I'm not saying that's a reason you should bet on Aldo, because it's probably not even true. But 6-1, Aldo's got a half-decent chance of getting the knockout here. I say half-decent. It's got no chance. You might as well just throw your money in the bin, because that is just terrible.